Hey guys, what is going on? So today I've got a response video. So it's kind of not really like a tag, but it's just like, I'm kind of doing the same thing basically. So the YouTuber is called SCOURGE Vinyl. He did a video called I would like to talk about, or I want to talk about punk and hardcore. And he basically showed the albums, a bunch of albums that got him really into punk and hardcore. I'll put a link to his video and his channel in the description. Definitely check it out. Really intriguing video. So basically I have pretty much all the albums, not all of them, but a lot of the albums that got me into punk and hardcore. So yeah, and I have them all listed all here in like chronological order. So yeah, this video could get pretty long. It's probably gonna be around like 20 minutes or a little over 20 minutes. But anyways, so the first album that I have, oh god, first you already saw that. I already know you saw that. I'm going to be showing that album in this video. If you're familiar with my videos, you know I show that album in every video. If you didn't see that, good then. No spoilers. But the first band I have to show here, and the band that introduced me into punk, and it sounds weird because they're not really known as a straight-up punk band, is AFI. So I know that nowadays they're known as more like a gothic rock band, or like a, or like an alternative rock band. But oh man, when I was like 10, 11 years old, when I was in like the 6th grade, I remember my parents had like a compilation CD of like all of AFI's early, not all of it, but like it's like a best of all their early work. I would show that, but I think I needed to show this one a little more because I remember hearing the song "I Want to Get a Mohawk," but Mom won't let me get one, which is on here, and like fucking loving it because it sounded really pissed off but still catchy at the same time, which is one of the things I love about a lot of punk. But anyways. And then I looked up all their old shit, and like this was the first album I ever bought at a record store. My dad took me to Chaos Records, and I bought this, and I fucking listened to the shit out of this in the 6th grade. This was one of the only CDs I owned at the time, so like, yeah, I listened to this, and pretty like AFI's first 5 albums were like all I listened to in the 6th grade, but not all that I listened to because I heard AFI cover a song called "Halloween" by the Misfits. That was a really cringy transition. Anyways, and then of course I had to look up the Misfits because I loved that song and I thought it was a really cool sounding song. So I was like, huh, I see this as a cover. Because when I was listening to it on the All Halls EP on YouTube, then I heard the Misfits, and this is when I searched up the Misfits. This is the first thing that came up, and I fucking love it. So the first time I heard this, I wasn't a massive fan of it. I was like, oh, this is kind of catchy, and then but it still intrigued me because I wanted to get into another. Because I knew that AFI were punk, and I wanted to get into more punk bands. Just to see what other bands are like, or if they sound all like AFI, or if they all sound very different. I didn't know anything at the time. So, excuse me. Anyways, the song on here that really got me into this was "I Turn Into a Martian." I heard that song, and I remember thinking, it's kind of a weird song subject or title, and I think it was kind of catchy too, and I just kept coming back to it, and it was such a good song, and it's still my favorite Misfits song, and like, this wasn't the first Misfits album I bought, though. The first one was American Psycho, because I kind of had to start with the cleaner Misfits, because I was still kind of, not a little kid, but, I don't know, I figured that my parents would get kind of weirded out if I bought a CD that said, like, Angel Fuck on it, or whatever, but, that sounds really weird, because that's really off topic, but, anyways, yeah, Misfits opened up AFI may have introduced punk to me, but the Misfits really opened up the door to, all these fucking bands in hardcore and punk out there. So yeah, Misfits definitely had to be on here. Next album is from a band that's pretty similar to the Misfits, but obviously came before them, and basically the band that invented punk, in my opinion, the Ramones. I know a lot of people say that, like the Sex Pistols did. In my opinion, I think that the Ramones invented like the musical style, but the Sex Pistols kind of invented the aesthetic. But the Ramones, I'm not a massive Ramones fan, but I do really, really like them. And I had to put this album on here, because this is my favorite Ramones album, Road to Ruin. Absolutely amazing album. The reason I like this one the most out of their entire discography is because, it has the most diversity. And there's, I don't know, a lot of the albums have, there's always that there's always at least, 3 overplayed songs on each Ramones album. The first one, pretty much, nearly every song on the first Ramones album, Blitzkrieg Bop, Beat on the Brat, Judy's a Punk, all those songs are kind of overplayed. And the reason I like this one the most is that there's a lot of the underrated songs on here, other than I Want to Be Sedated. That's the only overplayed song on here. But everything, obviously, I also really like their last album, which I should get sometime, but not anytime soon. I don't plan on getting it. forgot what it's called, but it has like dinosaurs on the. It's called Adios Amigos. That's another one of my favorite Ramones albums. But yeah, when I'm in the mood for hearing the Ramones, I usually listen to this. And this also has some good non-punk songs. Like, I like their cover of the song Needles and Pins. I forgot the name of the artist. My little brother's screaming. Anyways, yeah, good album. If you want to get into punk, this is actually a pretty good place to start, because the Ramones pretty much invented that. Anyways, when I started the 7th grade, I had a friend who was, like, into punk and stuff. And he introduced a lot of bands to me. And, first band that he showed me that I borrowed a CD from was, yeah, this is the album that you kind of got a glimpse of earlier. Voila, I know, I show this maybe 3 times a month in my YouTube videos, honestly. Black Flag, My War, he let me borrow his CD. He didn't even have the fucking jewel case, it was just a loose disc. And I listened to it, and I heard My War and Can't Decide, and I fucking fell in love with it. I loved the lyrics, and just everything about this, I fucking love. This is my favorite album of all time, my favorite band of all time. And, yeah, nothing can top this, in my opinion. At the time, since I was really pissed off, you know, I hated middle school, this album was just so, like, I don't know, it kind of, I guess, I mean, SCOURGE showed this the same album in his video, but he kind of said that it, like, fueled the fire for his rage, and that's true, though. If you're pissed off, this album makes you, I'm not saying it makes you more pissed off, but it kind of makes you feel empowered while pissed off, which kind of makes me feel more, I guess, I don't know. It's difficult to explain, but it kind of fuels your rage, but makes you more empowered, and that's what I love about this album so much. So yeah, Black Flag, My War. If you haven't heard it, fucking listen to it. Alright, so then, another album that the same friend showed me was Suicidal Tendencies, Still Psycho After All These Years. So this isn't my favorite Suicidal Tendencies album, pretty far from it, but honestly, I fucking loved this the first time I ever heard it. Just hearing, you know, like, just the crazy psychotic laugh that the album opens up with, Suicide's an Alternative, and just that just turned me on to this band immediately. I fucking love Suicidal Tendencies. They're still one of my favorite bands of all time. But yeah, and I also really got, this was easy to get into for me at the time, since I was also getting into Metallica at the time. So, like, the thrash metal kind of riffs on songs like, you know, Subliminal or War Inside My Head. Those made this really easy for me to get into. There's another, I didn't really discover many more bands for a little short period of time. But then the band that really opened up even more, like every month I was buying a CD, like every other week I was buying a CD from a different band after listening to this band. And this is Minor Threat. So when I was listening to AFI, I discovered like straight edge and all that, and I'm in straight edge, you know, just the whole straight edge subculture, and then I'm straight edge and shit, but I wanted to know what other straight edge bands were like. So I looked up like I just like straight edge bands or whatever, or like who invented straight edge, and Minor Threat came up. So I didn't even really bother listening to this on the internet. I just went right out and fucking bought this because I was really just the album cover to me looked kick ass. I just remember popping it in my CD player and just hearing the intro to Filler where he's just screaming "What happened to you?" and all that. It was just so, oh man, I fucking loved it the second I popped it in, and it sounds so pissed off. And like with pretty much every other, well, most of the albums on here, it just really, you know, like with My War, kind of like fuels the fire, I guess, if you're pissed off. It makes you feel empowered while angry. So yeah, Minor Threat, complete discography. Then after that, I found this CD in my mom's CD collection, and I was like, oh, it says punk, so I had to listen to it. And this is The Exploited, Punk's Not Dead. This is a really weird pressing of it, but anyways. This album introduced me to the more, like, I guess you'd say more stereotypical punk style, because you know, the band that got me into punk was AFI, and they're not really a traditional kind of punk band. And I mean, the Ramones were about the first band, I'd say the Exploited were really the first band that I got into that had like that stereotypical, I guess, street punk kind of sound, you know, with like the mohawks and the piercings and everything. You know what I mean. Well, not piercing, but you know, like safety pins. You know, like this first like punk-looking punk band that I ever really got into was The Exploited. I guess I could just say the first street punk band I ever got into. Yeah, but so many good songs on here, like Punk's Not Dead, Cop Cars, Monkey Pup, Sex and Violence, Crashed Out, I Believe in Anarchy. Just an amazing album. Not my favorite. I'm not a massive fan of The Exploited, but I really like this album. Anyway, so after listening to Minor Threat, then I also wanted to discover more bands similar to that style. And I remember on like their Wikipedia page it said like associated acts, and I think Bad Brains was there. I'm not sure, but I discovered Bad Brains somehow through Minor Threat on Wikipedia. But the first album I bought from them actually wasn't their self-titled, and a lot of people will probably mention their self-titled. But the album that got me into Bad Brains was actually Eye Against Eye. The song Reignition. I actually had heard that song in Guitar Hero beforehand, which I know I sound a little posery or whatever, but really, like, this album is just fucking good. Yeah, this album got me into Bad Brains, and I also liked how they had elements of other music besides just straight up hardcore punk, so it wasn't super repetitive. You know, there's a lot of diversity on this album, but yeah, Eye Against Eye. Try to speed through this because I'm like 10 minutes in and I'm not even halfway done. Anyways, and then another band I discovered, because like while Bad Brains were similar to Minor Threat, they didn't straight up sound a lot like Minor Threat. So another band that I discovered was Agnostic Front. So this is a really underrated. I wouldn't say underrated, but it's just an album that a lot of people talk about, and it's not even really their best album. But this is Agnostic Front's Another Voice. So it's not my favorite from them at all, but it's the first album I bought from them. Because I remember going to the record store and just like I listened to Victim in Pain on YouTube, and I went to the record store looking for that album, and they didn't have it. I just picked this one because I thought the album cover was kind of cool looking. Yeah, this is a very good album. It's almost kind of like a metalcore kind of album, but this kind of introduced me to like that macho, hardcore, tough guy kind of style of punk. Actually, no, it's more style of hardcore than punk, but yeah, very good album. Anyways, and then over the summer, just like, you know, looking around on the internet to discover more punk bands, so I could go out and buy their CDs. One of the bands I discovered, because I saw this band's fucking album cover for this album everywhere, and that is the Descendents, Milo Goes to College. It was actually a while after discovering this, pretty much over a year before I bought it, because like I couldn't find it on CD, in physical format, and even on vinyl. But anyways, so many catchy songs on here. The first song I ever heard from them was I'm Not a Loser, because the song title kind of appealed to me. It just seemed interesting when I saw that in my recommendations and on the internet, and I was just like, I gotta hear this. It says Descendents, and they're probably a punk band, because they always show up in recommendations when I'm listening to their shit. So yeah, I also heard Hope, and then my favorite Descendants song, Bike Age. But yeah, such a damn good album, so many catchy songs. Another band that I discovered from the internet over summer, I sound like one of those people who like illegally downloads. Because I'm mentioning how I discovered all these bands through the internet. I discovered most punk bands through the internet, though, because, like, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of people I know that listen to punk. Other than I had a few, like, a friend or two in middle school. And then one of them turned out to be a scumbag, but whatever. Circle Jerks, wonderful. I know a lot of people really like Group 6, a lot of people like Wild in the Streets, and a lot of people like Golden Shower Pits. But this is my favorite Circle Jerks album. So yeah, really good album. The song I discovered was Rock House first, and then then later on, my favorite song from them and the first YouTube video I ever did was a cover of Making the Bombs. That's a great song. Wonderful. American Heavy Metal Weekend is kind of a weird song, but I like that song. Killing for Jesus is great. The Crowd, great album. I really liked that like LA hardcore, LA punk / hardcore kind of style. You know, with like the really snotty sounding vocals. And then another one of the bands I discovered not too long after the Circle Jerks was the Germs. So GI, great album. You know, I love Darby Crash's vocals and just the vibe that the band kind of gives. It's almost kind of like psychedelic, but not really. I don't know. But especially on this album, on songs like Communist Dies or Richie Dagger's Crime. Anyways, I really like the snotty sound of other songs by them. You know, like What We Do Is Secret or Communist Dies or Lexicon Devil. But yeah, Germs, GI. Alright, now another California punk band that I got into that's pretty much essential, is the Dead Kennedys. A lot of people are a lot of people would say that the album that got them into the Dead Kennedys was Fresh Fruit, Fried Vegetables, but this album really got me into them. Honestly, like, this is a good fucking album. And this is the album, like I said, I discovered this, actually a friend showed me this album. But yeah, I really like the like social statement that the Dead Kennedys kind of had, especially on this album, on like, you know, like on Advice from Christmas Past, or like Terminal Preppy, you know, like just that kind of political vibe, but it's like socially political. I don't know, but yeah, amazing album. Alright, we're like about halfway done. Anyways, and then came the 8th grade, which is, I would say, is the peak. I don't want to say peak, but like the point where I discovered I kind of like found what I liked and what I didn't like. I kind of discovered I pretty much, like, you know, looked everywhere. I'm pretty much in hardcore, but this album is nowhere near hardcore punk. But this is the Cramps, Bad Music for Bad People. This is very different from all the other punk I listen to, because I mostly just listen to, like, American hardcore. But they're a psychobilly band, obviously, if you know who the Cramps are. And, I don't know, I just really like the catchiness of songs like Garbage Man, or, I want to listen to this now, fuck. Every time I talk about this album, or I see it in my CD collection, I'm like, alright, I'm listening to this. Also, I really like that artwork. Anyways. Yeah, I also really like the funny lyrics on songs like She Said, or Save It. Just, they're a really funny band, or like how there's like moaning at the end of the song, Save It. Or like TV Set is another one of my favorites, but yeah, Cramps, Bad Music for Bad People. This is, I've never really explored a lot of psychobilly, I should really do that. Anyways, another American hardcore band that I discovered, Battalion of Saints. I discovered this band from a friend. Anyways, fucking great album. Very underrated. In my opinion, Battalion of Saints should be up there with, like, Black Flag and Bad Brains and the Circle Jerks and the Dead Kennedys, like, as, like, one of the most popular, but they're not. They're very obscure and underrated. But yeah, I mean, I fucking love their vocals. It's like those psychotic squeals on songs like, you know, My Mind's Diseased, or, Buddies and Pals, you know. Just fucking great. Definitely check this out if you haven't heard of it. It's awesome. I got 2 albums from the same band, because I couldn't really choose between them. But this is TSOL's EP, their self-titled one, and their album Dance With Me. So I couldn't choose between them, because Dance With Me is the album that got me into them when I first heard Code Blue. And I remember, like, just the lyrics, since they're so fucking weird and gross. I really like songs like that. Like, I always thought that, like, in order to be a good punk band, you had to either have a really angry song or a really gross song. You know, like, the Misfits had Last Caress for their gross song. You know, actually, not even just Last Caress, but a lot of other songs, you know, or, like, Suicidal Tendencies had I Saw Your Mommy. And then, of course, TSOL had Code Blue, and that really made me want to listen to this whole thing. And then I didn't immediately go out and buy this, because the rest of the songs had to kind of grow on me. But, then I bought their EP before that, and I fucking love this. I can still listen to this, like, all the time. I love this EP, not album. But yeah, TSOL, god, this is almost 20 minutes. I gotta hurry up. Alright, another band that I discovered in the 8th grade. This 7 Seconds, The Crew. I was looking for more straight edge bands besides Minor Threat and AFI. And when I searched straight edge, you know, those were one of the first bands. 7 Seconds were one of the first bands to come up. So yeah, I love 7 Seconds. I don't like them as much as I used to, but I still really dig them. Alright, another band. I'm really trying to hurry up. Adolescence. This is one of my all-time favorite punk albums. Just so many. Every song I hear is really good. But yeah, amazing album. This, I really liked the angry, kind of like, I'm just so snide vocals, and, you know, the lyrics are really pissed off on songs like I Hate Children and stuff. Great album. Another straight edge band. I'm referring to 7 Seconds. Not Adolescents. They're definitely not straight edge band, but Gorilla Biscuits, self-titled EP. I couldn't choose really between, Start Today and this, but I had to put this because this is the first thing I ever bought from them and the first thing I heard from them. I really love Sib's vocals. A lot of people don't because he sounds all, like, squeaky or whatever. But he kind of sounds a lot like early Davey Havok from AFI, and that's what really turned me on to this band. But yeah, love Gorilla Biscuits. Alright, and then the summer before 9th grade, so these last 3 albums are a little bit more recent. The first one is Discharge, Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. So I wanted to discover more bands kind of like The Exploited, but I remember seeing this album cover and thinking it looked fucking badass. So I looked this up on the internet, you know, I listened to it, and I didn't like it at first, but then it just grew on me, and it's even still growing on me now. Like, every time I listen to this, it just gets better and better. I got this summer for my 14th birthday, or last summer, I should say, because that was 2016, but I don't know why I'm showing the gatefold, but I don't know. Great album. God, my fucking siblings keep yelling, but I don't feel like re-recording, so I'm already like 20 minutes in. Alright, and then the album that pretty much defined last summer. I hardly listened to anything other than this album and this band. No Effects, Punk and Drublick. Fucking amazing album. I'd say this is my second favorite punk album of all time, which is weird because I have all this, like, I know a lot of people don't like No Effects, and they say that they're poser punk or mall punk or pop punk, which I don't really get because they're not on, like, a major label. They're not fucking Blink-182 or Green Day. No Effects are amazing. This is my favorite album from them. I know it's cliche because this is everybody's favorite album from No Effects, pretty much. But yeah, I also really like White Trash, Two Hues and a Bean, but this one I had to put on here. So yeah. Now the last album on here isn't the most recent punk album I discovered, but it's just one of the newer ones I discovered that introduced me to a new kind of style. So, like I said, with Agnostic Front, I kind of discovered that, like, macho kind of style of hardcore, but I didn't explore any other bands like that until when I discovered this band. I discovered this band from a friend. So this is Bane. This is their album Give Blood. For a while, my favorite album from them was The Note, but honestly, this one's probably my favorite. Fucking love this album. It's a masterpiece. So many great songs. My favorite is Some Came Running. But yeah, really underrated band too. Not a lot of people talk about Bane. They're really good. Like I don't know if they're straight edge, but they're not. I wouldn't call them straight edge hardcore, but they're similar about style. And they open the door to me to other bands, you know, like Have Heart or those kind of bands, or like that kind of macho but still very emotional. That's another thing I like about Bane. They have kind of an emotional kind of style of hardcore, but without going all whiny or emo or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and sorry about that shitty lighting. It's kind of like near nighttime right now. Anyways, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that shit. Definitely check out SCOURGE of Vinyl's YouTube video on this. I'll link that below later. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.